The Zhongli clone is here, and finally, a god has entered the realm. Neuvillette will take center stage in the next update as he will be available in the next week. Is he worth your primos though? We know how powerful he is in game, but does that translate to game in power? Or power in game? Anyway, let's get into Neuvillette. So, Neuvillette will be the first hyper carry Hydro unit. While there are other Hydro carries in Childe and Ayato, Neuvillette will be doing a major amount of damage in his teams, rather than being a catalyst for reactions. Let's quickly dive into a pool of his skills, burst, and charge attack. His elemental skill does a bit of damage in front of him and then drops 3 droplets. These are the exact same droplets that are dropped by the Hydro Traveler's elemental skill and are essential to his kit. We will see why in just a moment, however. So hold on to that thought. The damage from his skill isn't that much. It's about as strong as Yelan's charge attack barb, so it's just decent damage, but nothing major. His burst does a big splash of Hydro AoE damage in front of him, followed by 2 smaller waves. This will drop a total of 6 droplets. The damage is also about double that of his skill from the initial hit, and the follow-up waves are a tad bit weaker. Now, these 2 parts of his kit are what fuel the main part of his damage, his charge attack. With his skill and burst, he'll generate a total of 9 droplets, 3 with his skill, 6 with his burst. His charge attack will absorb the droplets around you, and when you unleash his charge attack, he'll also absorb the droplets that it hits. You'll be able to get off about 3 per rotation at C0. So when you use his skill, the 3 droplets will give you a charge attack, then when you use his burst, you can use another charge attack followed by another charge attack. Pretty awesome to be honest. His passives are also pretty decent and they're all damage oriented. His first passive increases his damage on whether he does a Hydro related reaction, stacking up to 3 times. It seems like each Hydro reactions counts separately, so Electro charges 1 and then Hyper Bloom maybe another. So these stacks last about 30 seconds each and stack up to 3, which is pretty good for his damage, but from what I've seen, you'll only get about 2 stacks at a time. His second passive gives him Hydro damage based on how much HP he has when that's over 30%. Which is actually pretty damn good as well. Overall, his kit's very cohesive, and he looks great at C0. Now, let's go into his flaws. The only flaws with Neuvillette is that he's a charge attack character. He would not be able to work in tandem with other normal attack sub-DPS units. There are still many characters that work really well with him, but that is something to consider. In addition, his C1 really increases his team customization. You will really want to use him with a shield or have some sort of interruption resistance because, as we know, getting hit during your charge attack animation can be very annoying. His C1 fixes this issue as it adds interruption resistance to his charge attack. Keep in mind though, he is pretty far from the enemies when he's doing his charge attack, and you are able to move while doing his charge attack. So if you're decent at the game and you can really manage dodging hits, you won't even need interruption resistance, but it is something that's very nice to have. In addition though, his C1 will give him another stack from his first passive automatically, so that's going to be a really big increase to his damage as well. The other major downside is that he doesn't have many ways to increase his damage beyond adding a sub-DPS that do actual damage and reaction. A Hydro scaling Bennett doesn't exist. Yet. Maybe Furina will become that, but we really don't know yet. So he will definitely function as a hyper carry, but he will not be at the top of the meta because Bennett to any character that scales with attack is just completely busted. With Constellations, that pretty much fixes his issue, but you should not be throwing a ton of Primogems towards this character. As for his weapons, you have a ton of options, but for 5 stars, stay away from Skyward Atlas and Memory of Dust, or any weapon with attack percent as the main stat in that regard. For 4-star weapons, the new Battle Pass weapon works great on him. It also gives HP percent and crit rate, so pretty good overall. So if you bought the Battle Pass and don't know which weapon to buy, then maybe this will work well on him. Other than that, a few other options are the Widsith, Thrilling Tales of Dragonslayer, and he can also use Prototype Amber pretty well and works as a pseudo healer. There is also a new weapon coming next patch, that gives a good amount of damage as well, the Ballad of Boundless Blue. He could utilize a ton of weapons, so just keep that in mind and stay away from anything that gives attack percent. As for his artifacts, you will have to use the new 4-piece Hunter set. This is, without a doubt, his best option, as he scales crit damage, so it's even better. The 2-piece set also gives 15% charge attack, and all of his damage is pretty much coming from his charge attack. You will pretty much have to use this set, so get to farming. I myself haven't even gotten 2 good pieces yet, but a man can dream. Other than that, you can use a combination of any Hydro damage sets and HP percent sets. For his loadout, you'll want to go HP percent Sands, Hydro damage Goblet, and a crit hat. Easy peasy. Okay, now let's get into the nitty gritty, his teams. Good luck for you. Many characters work with him, and he can work in so many teams, since he's Hydro. Wherever there's a child, or an ISO, or a Nilo, you can just slot him in and he'll work perfectly fine. Now, the best teams are probably going to be Hyper Bloom or a Taser team. You can use him in bait teams with Zhengling, but there are just better options in that case because Zhengling is doing most of the damage there. What makes this even better is that when you're actually building a team, you generally don't even need a healer for him. His droplets actually heal you. I didn't mention that earlier, but that's actually really important, so he is really self-reliant. As long as he's on field for the most part, he'll really be the only person who takes damage. He already has a ton of HP because it's HP scaling, so you may never even need a healer. And if you use the prototype Amber, he will legitimately be your healer. One thing that you may want to slap onto any of his teams, however, is interruption resistance. Speaking of interruption resistance, Beidou is a great partner for him, as she works great in any Hyper Bloom or Taser team. Beidou is one of the few characters who could trigger her burst with charge attacks, so she'll be really good here. Other than that, he has many team options, so if you get him, you'll be able to use him in one way, shape, or form. So all in all, New Vallette is a complete character at C0, but he won't be at the top of the meta. If you want to zoom around and shoot off beams of Hydro into your opponents, then this guy is right up your alley. He has many team options, and when Furina comes around, that may open the door to much higher damage numbers. If you are on the fence, I would wait till Furina information comes around and see how impactful she might be to other teams. I really want to pull him myself, but I have to save all my Primo Gems for Furina and then everything else into Arlecchino. If I had the Primo Gems though, I would definitely be pulling him. Best of luck pulling when 4.1 drops. He will be worthwhile to your account as his gameplay seems quite unique, and that's what we love to see in a new character. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like this video for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe for more content. I've been busy with school, so stay tuned because I'll be bringing back more variety to this channel soon. I've got a few things that are already in the works, so subscribe to stay updated. Until next time, Enigma